So this is going to be the top, and the final dimension is going to be 16 inches across. So what I want to do now is just take a look at the grain and make sure that I've got good flow and that everything just sort of blends together. And I've played around with the configuration of these pieces, and I kind of think this is what looks really nice. The grain kind of matches and blends together. What I'll do is I'll take the saw and joint each edge to get them perfectly square and remove any inconsistencies across the pieces, and then I'll see how that cut works. Should get a glue ready cut right from the saw. If not, then I'll use a hand plane or something and just tweak the edge a little bit. And then the top will be ready to glue up. I'm not really concerned with making the cuts parallel at this point, because once the top is done, then I'll get it dimensioned to size. Before I actually make the cuts, I did a layout triangle so I can orient the pieces when I'm done. And I've also laid out for 4 spots where I'm going to add some dominoes. You don't really need dominoes in this application. I've made plenty of tabletops before with just a glue line. You're gluing long grain to long grain. That joint is plenty strong, stronger than the wood around it. But I like adding a couple of dominoes across the face just to help with alignment and ensure that I don't have any movement and I get a really flat and consistent top across the top. So I went in and measured roughly 6 inches or so from each end, and then just added a couple of slots in the middle. And that will ensure that when I trim the top to final size that I don't run the risk of cutting it too short and exposing the domino. And if I add any profiling to the edge or anything, I won't be in any danger of that either. So now that the layout's done, I'm going to take my 75-inch rail, my 1900, lay it across the joint and cut both sides and then glue it together. Well, then cut the slots for the domino and then glue it together. Got the guide rail positioned here. I'm going to take off about 1/4 inch or so. I'm going to secure the rail with clamps to the bottom of the T. Just want to make sure I don't have any movement as I make the cut, especially since this is going to be where the joint goes. Doesn't take that long to do it. Make sure I've adjusted the depth of cut properly. Just a little bit more. There we got a nice clean edge, and the worm marks are gone. Okay, I have the top dry fit, and I am going to recut this edge. I think it's this board, but this is under clamp pressure and I can move the edge, and there's just an ever so slight gap right along the seam. It's really tight down at this end, but it's not perfect on this end, so I'm just going to cut this joint one more time and see if I can get a better fit. Like I said, I've got plenty of material to tweak this a little bit. If that cut doesn't do it, then I'll probably take a hand plane to both sides just to ensure I've got a tight glue joint. But that's the reason why I dry fit all the assemblies before applying glue to catch anything like that, and it'll just make for a better result.